Welcome to GiFTgive's Friday webinar. Today is April the 26th. It's 11 o'clock, and today we're going to talk about GiFTgive and how it can help my nonprofit. If you look at the screen, you'll see that is our question this morning. Folks, the world is changing, and it's changing for nonprofit fundraising. The questions are still how to grow donations and how to grow the donor base. But this world is changing, and the goals haven't changed, but the landscape has. Donors are different these days. They have different expectations. They like to participate in different ways. It's not your same old donor. Now, we know also that the need out there is continuing to grow even faster than any donations are growing. Donations growth tends to track the general economy. So somewhere in the average of 2 to 3% over time per year, although obviously different circumstances for different situations. Another challenge is the donor retention is low, and we'll cover that in other webinars. But these are some of the things we're up against when we say the world is changing. I read the other day that more than half of, in fact, I think it was more than 3/4 of nonprofits, their last fundraiser, they had fired them. So it doesn't seem to be happy endings all around. Clearly, something has got to change. So what we want to suggest is that there are three big waves out there, three big waves of change to which you got to kind of have to respond. The first one here is e-commerce. Now, we all know about e-commerce, but this is really the future of financial transactions. And while we're busy as nonprofits off helping people and causes in the world, the way business gets done, and that includes donations, is changing. The future is online, and online e-commerce is growing at 16% a year. 16% is a very fast growth rate. Very few things grow at 16% per year, especially on a sustained basis. When you hear a number like that, you have to pay attention. By contrast, donations really are only growing, as I said, at the economic rate of about 2 to 3% over time. Again, with variation by different circumstance. It's interesting that online giving, that segment of donation activity, is also growing at 16% a year, sort of tracking what e-commerce is doing. So it sort of begs the question, in your fundraising strategies, where do you need to be? This is a wave, and you need to figure out how you're going to respond to it. The second wave that we want to highlight is the whole mobile phenomenon. There's lots of numbers out there, but the best ones that I could come up with are that mobile in general, and this is all uses of mobile, is growing at about 66% a year. That's extraordinary and probably unsustainable, but who cares? It's such an enormous number. Projections are that there'll be 1.2 billion smartphones, which didn't exist a few years ago. 1.2 billion smartphones in the market within 3 or 4 years, by about 2017. The estimates are that tablets, iPads or Android tablets, or whoever's tablet you like, all the tablets out there, they expect to sell 235 million of them just this year alone. 235 million. I think what this says is that people are doing their interactions, call it business, but it also includes donation activity. They're doing that online and on the go. And ultimately, if we want to do some business with somebody, if we want to engage a donor, we kind of have to meet them where they are. Direct mail, it doesn't even reach young people anymore. They don't have landlines in their homes, and they don't open junk mail, or direct mail, excuse me. So if you're going to reach these people, you've got to find out where they are. And that means paying attention to this mobile phenomenon. The third one, which gets talked about a lot, is social media. Such a phenomenon with Facebook and the other social media channels. The key here is that the idea is not to bring people to your site so much as to have them take you and your messages to their networks. That kind of expansion is where social media can really help you. So how do you get them to do that? Something we'll talk about. that if you're going to try to get donors talking to you or talking about you online with their friends and contacts, you got to make your messages easy to share. It's got to be something that they can pick up and transmit and send and like and share and pass along without a whole lot of explanation, because they won't take a lot of time doing it, and if it's hard to do, it's not going to happen. Ultimately, you'd like to turn your donors into your ambassadors. These are people who have so much passion for you and what you do that they simply take it on themselves to share your message, to get it out there. And that is really leveraging your relationships. We think, from this perspective, that a donor's network, in many cases, is more valuable than their wallet, if you use it right. So these are three waves, three huge changes going on in our culture, which nonprofits are simply going to have to start paying attention to. What we're saying here is ride the wave or get overwhelmed by it. You can surf it or you can try to swim out of it, but the wave is here. The world is changing. Younger donors are actually engaging in philanthropy at higher rates than their parents did, but new donors want to be more involved. They want more choices. And the nonprofits actually need to get to know their donors better. They need to communicate better and more often. And they need to do all of this more efficiently, because nobody's sending you money for donor contact. So this is the big picture in which we're operating. And the question becomes, how do you improve? So here's 5 generic ways that we think a nonprofit can improve their results. The first one is very simple, and it's a core to what we do. Offer more choices. Not just cash donations. Keep doing that, but add other choices. In particular, let people see the things you need and let them pick and choose among those, like they pick and choose among all kinds of things they put their money into. Secondly, let's craft better messages using the technology and tools that are out there. If you can connect your donors directly to your needs, you're also connecting the donors directly to you. There's a sort of glue that goes on here by allowing them to get inside the operation, see what you're doing, pick the thing that they want to help with, and let them do it, and then keep them informed. And that's the third thing. Thank donors better. Gosh, we hear that all the time. I never hear from my nonprofit until they want money, and they never thank me. Now, you probably do thank them, but the message is still meaningful. And clearly, we could thank them better and more often, because keeping somebody in the loop, keeping them engaged, is not just saying thank you, but it really helps on donor retention. The fourth thing we would say is a way to improve here would be to learn more about donors. And that might sound crazy when we're talking about online activity, but the fact of the matter is there's a lot that you can learn about your donors. What they like, what they don't like, where they linger, where they share something, where they communicate their preferences out to other people. There's a lot that can be learned about their behavior by watching how they interact on the internet. And the better you know your donors, the better you're going to be able to build that relationship with them. And then finally, the fifth way we would say to improve, as I mentioned a minute ago, is to extend your reach through social media. I can yell as loud as I want all day long, but the range around which my message will travel is very limited. If I can get other people doing this online and doing it for me and getting them talking about me, then all of a sudden I have taken an enormous jump in extending the reach of my message to other people. So these are 5 generic ways that you can improve your operation to improve this changing environment. So how could GiFTgive help? That was sort of the beginning point of all of this. We framed it up to show you what some of the challenges were, and we've suggested that there's some generic ways that you can improve. Here's how we can help. This simple, easy set of tools that we're providing will address most of these questions. The first thing is create a wish list. Just start with a list. I don't know, 10 is fine, more, fewer. We don't have a magic number here, but pick out 10 things that you think your donors might engage with and react to. Things they might want to say, hey, I'd like to give you that. You know, we've all bought birthday presents for people, and we ask them what they want. And they may say a few things, and then we pick them from that list. So it's not that different. Or a bridal registry, if you want to try another metaphor. Now, these aren't necessarily brand new items. These are things that you were going to buy anyway. So they're really helping you where your budget is currently focused. And then use some variety with this wish list. Don't put 10 things on there that are all the same. People have different preferences, so give them a chance to exercise those preferences by giving them different types of things that they might be interested in funding. It's sort of like a shopping experience. We don't all buy the same thing. And that's why when you go to the store, you have so many choices. But you do buy. So the second step is to, we call it, merchandise the needs. You use the GiFTgive merchandising engine to set up these needs. It helps you to tell a really powerful story because stories are what people use to convey information that's designed to create an emotional response. And buying activity, donation activity, is an emotional product. It just is. If you can connect through the stories with your donors and share your passion with them, you're going to get better results. And the system will help you do that. You can tell your story using video. You can use it with pictures. You can use an audio recording. You could even do something. We're experimenting with animation. But the point here is to simply describe, kind of briefly, but with some effect, what it is you need and what you hope to achieve. Share your story, share your passion. The third step is to market yourself to donors. By all means, keep using the existing channels that are already working for you. Maybe that's direct mail. Maybe that's email or newsletters or personal notes or phone calls. But whatever it is that's working, keep doing that. And then also use those to tell your donors about this new way that you're going to allow them to meet your needs. You'll be able to leverage some of these new opportunities to reach donors and new donors with the GiFTgive tools. The idea here is to keep your message in front of people. As a consumer world, we are tired of people selling us stuff. We like to buy, but we don't like to be sold. So if the nonprofit can leave its message in an attractive message and a message in multiple fashions, leave that message out there, then people will connect with it and they will share it and they will donate. So you get to keep your message in front of people without any extra work. Two more ways in which GiFTgive can help. Let's talk about thanking donors. The system will help you draft custom messages, which is a sort of a one-to-many answer. It's your personal thank you, but it goes to each donor individually. And these are sent automatically. And we thank them more than once for you. They get thanked at the point of donation with a receipt and an email that's immediate. There are follow-up notices that track the rate of progress on whether the item that they're contributing toward has been funded and whether or not it's shipped out to you. These are really just opportunities to keep them engaged, to let them be a part of the procurement process. And then, this is a lot of fun, you can send a thank you video from the field. It's very simple. It's a few clicks of the phone, and all of a sudden a little video that came right from your service site halfway around the world is suddenly on YouTube and being sent out specifically to those people who donated to that item. You can't get more personal than that. And people like that, and they will share it with their friends, and suddenly you find yourself meeting new donors that you never heard of because your current donors had so much fun being thanked. So there's a lot of work to do there, a lot of places to get better. And then finally, we can help with donor analytics. So much of the time in business they say you need to know your customer. Well, you can use our GiFTgive analytics to learn more about where donors are spending time on the site, when they give multiple times, when they share, when they ask other people to participate and join in, when they how they react to deadlines, things like that. What we're suggesting here is that you can actually get to know your donors, perhaps not individually, but by their preferences, by treating them like consumers. And we're all consumers, and consumers or donors, same thing. We basically expect people who who sell merchandise, which in this case we're going to equate the nonprofit to a vendor, we sort of expect them to know our preferences. I mean, we go back to stores that sort of seem to cater to our interests. Well, this is the same thing. The more you know your customer, the better you can see what they like, the more you're going to be able to tailor your needs, the things that you ask for support on, to the things that they like to give. It really boils down to this. If you can give your donors a good user experience, they'll keep coming back. And it's not any harder than that. Okay. Let me just touch on a sort of a big ideas here. And this is a slide we've used before. You've got some existing media that you use, but there's a lot of new things out there. And you want to use your current systems to reach out to everybody you know, all your stakeholders. Maybe it's your donors, maybe it's your board, maybe it's people who sell you things, maybe it's people who bring you things. If you will let them see your needs, you are expanding your universe pretty quickly. You'll notice there we put YouTube and Google up to show, the whole idea of SEO and going viral. Most of the things that we look at on the internet are things that we searched for. And the GiFTgive system, without any work on your part, will apply search engine optimization to every need and everything you say or video or do on the site. And what that does is it gives you more visibility in the search results. I do a series of video interviews for the GiFTgive, and these routinely show up on the first, when I Google the search on the person's name for whom I've just done the video. These videos routinely show up on the first page of search results. We see it every day. The more visible you are through search results, the more activity you're going to generate. We've talked here a little bit about personal contact and how you're putting your needs in the hands, or the pocket, if you will, of the donor, whether it's on a tablet or whether it's on their smartphone. You're allowing them to take the storefront into their world and react in their time when it's convenient for them to the things that you need. You're doing everything you can to embrace this donor and do it the way that is most comfortable for them. And that would be impossible to do if you weren't paying attention to the technology and the fact that there are all of this activity being carried out on devices like smartphones and tablets. Again, you don't have to put any work into this. It's just leveraging what's actually going on out there. We're back up on top surfing this particular wave. And we've talked a little bit more about the whole idea of social media. But this is really the big thing. I mean, they're all big, but this is important. It's not what you say to a donor, it's what the donors say to other people about you that's going to help you grow that donor base. You're going to give them a good experience that'll keep them coming back. But in order to attract new people, folks who already know and care about you have to share their passion for you and your cause with other people. And these days, social media is how that connection is made. And these are all big ideas that can make a significant difference in propelling growth in donors and donations, which is, after all, what we're talking about here. And none of these require any real effort on your part. The system takes care of all of this for you. So you're really leveraging your available resources by using GiFTgive. So I guess that sums it up. The answer is we can help your nonprofit. I encourage you to come and check out more webinars. We're doing these every Friday. And I'll also suggest that you go to www.gift-give.com and look at our website and go and look at the needs that your favorite nonprofit is showing on their landing pages. Thank you for joining us. Bye now.